So as birth rates continue to decline in America, the White House is looking into offering $5,000 cash bonuses, expanded access to IVF, along with other incentives for women to have more babies.
Why?
And, okay. I am incredibly insulted by this because clearly they don't know how women's bodies work and they don't know what it costs to raise a child or just have a child. And $5,000? I don't know what $5,000 is supposed to do. And it's not even $5,000 because you have to cut it in half because you got to pay taxes on it.
Yeah.
So they're offering you $2,500 to have a baby. Now, don't forget about all the stuff they've cut.
Yeah. Right, we have
that you need. Yes, you have a list.
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to say to you all, and are you ready for this?
Yeah.
What do you think of this proposal?
I want to reframe the issue a little bit, because when I look at something like this, these proposals, I want to know why, and I want to know who's making them. And so when I looked into that, they're saying that the U.S. birth rate is declining. However, in 2024, there was a 1% increase in U.S. births. But that increase was with Hispanic mothers and Asian mothers. So they don't seem to be concerned about that increase. They seem to be more concerned about a decrease in other populations.
Say it.
No, I think I've said enough.
It's not based on that.
And so, well, it's just based on a study. And so the other thing
But have they said that anywhere? I mean, I feel like it to be fair.
It's just fair to who? It's just a.
Have they said that this is to target only white families?
Oh, I didn't say that.
You have to read between the lines.
I just gave the stats.
They're not going to say it.
It's about economics. They're wanting people to pay in.
I'm just giving facts.
No, you're not. You're not giving facts. What you said didn't even make sense. Shelley, what are your thoughts there?
Okay, here we go again. I hate to say it. I do former federal fuck up. Okay. She said 2024 had a 1% increase, but that does not take into account the years prior when there has been a consistent decline in the fertility rate and birth rate for American women. So that 1% increase, which is good, thankfully, but Sonny, dear, there were decades where the decrease. So we're still in the negative, okay? I don't know why this stuff is so difficult for her. Again, I don't have a JD, okay? Oh my gosh, she gets me on my nerves. She's so damn fucked up. That's number one. Number two, the proposal is basically for there to be some type of, I'm going to say, insurance, employer-based insurance, just like many companies were forced to have employer-based abortion insurance if you wanted to have an abortion. But the women and the families who wanted to have a baby, and maybe they were struggling for whatever reason, whether or not you believe in IVF, they were struggling to do so, particularly financially, via the IVF methods. So this is an incentive, if you will, or an assist for them to do so. Granted, there's always adoption. I shouldn't say always, but there is an adoption option for many people or some people to choose from. But they distorted. I don't even know how she made this into, I'm going to say, quote unquote, race. You know, I always say there's only one race. But how she made this into a racial issue, you know what I think she was seeing? I think she was seeing some lines of cocaine that she may have sniffed way back in her days when she was in law school. Those are the lines I think she saw.
Yeah, this woman is insane. She is insane. Nicole, what about what Whoopi said about $5,000, as if $5,000 is enough to raise a baby? Nobody's trying to raise a whole baby, a whole child to the 18.
First of all, $5,000 buys almost 17,000 diapers, right? Almost 17,000 diapers. Diapers are wickedly expensive. You know, if you've been a mom, you know that diapers and formula cost a ton of money. And this $5,000, if you're married and having a baby, is much, much more than the $0 that you get now if you're married. and having a baby. Now, I know Whoopi's very, very wealthy, so $5,000 is loose pocket change to her. But to young families who are just starting out, that $5,000 means dad probably gets to stay home from work a few more weeks with the baby. It means that all the bills get paid up, so you get a little bit of cushion for your family. Things like this that she doesn't understand, because when her daughter was having a baby, grandma was already wealthy. So she didn't have to go to Target and try to decide, are we getting Huggies today or are we getting Target brand? Target brand absorbs just as good, ladies. Get the Target brand. Make your $5,000 stretch, right? It is horrible that they're trying to make this into some Johnny-come-lately policy. President Trump actually ran on this policy. This is the same policy that J.D. Vance talked about in that debate where he ate up Tim Walz. He talked about this, making sure that Americans who want to have a baby can. Sonny talked about that study. The study did not say whether or not this uptick, this 1% uptick, was in people who belong in the United States, or was this 1% uptick in illegal people having babies in the United States? She always leaves off those little, truth points. Shelley's right with her alliteration. This woman doesn't ever get it right. She's always trying to make something race baity. She's always bringing ugly and death into everything that she says. I don't know how people watch that show. I just don't. I don't know how you can sit there and watch that for an hour.
Right. And because they're woke. These women are the real definition of woke.
Production company that believes in growing a pipeline of future talent in the entertainment industry. Good for you. Diversity inclusion initiatives are being stripped away, as we saw every day, from many places in the country right now. Yeah. So have you seen it happening in Hollywood, and how are you fighting against that with your production company?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not just the media industry, but it's all industries. But I think we have to remember why DEI was created, and it was to correct historical exclusion.
That's right.
Which is not just about being Latino and Black. It's women, it's disabled, it's a lot
LGBTQ+.
of marginalized LGBTQ+. It's a lot of marginalized communities that never get to tell their stories. Right. So correcting that historical exclusion, and then also
why do you think they're doing that? Why do you think they're doing that?
Well, I don't know, because it's bad business.
Yeah.
It's not just a moral imperative. Like, I do it because it's morally right. I want authentic storytelling. I want the people who have lived these stories to tell them. But we are creating programming for the most diverse audience ever in the history of the world.
Yes.
And so it's not just a moral imperative, it's just good business. And at the end of the day, I'm a businesswoman, so why wouldn't you want to create for the growing market, not the shrinking market?
Yes. And also, you can say it's going away. We're not going anywhere. Right. So we're going to keep making the movies we want to make and telling the stories. And listen, if you want to say it's not happening, we'll pat your hand and say, okay.
All right. So you're making trash movies. That's what you're doing. I can't even watch a movie that was made really within the last 5 years. I have to go, if I want to have a movie night, I have to find a movie that was made no earlier than like the early 2000s, because the movies that are being made now, because they have to meet these ESG quotas about how many gays, how many trans, how many Blacks, how many what, it doesn't even make sense many times with the stories that they are creating, and they are doing this at a disadvantage to the movie. Shelley, what are your thoughts there?
This is why the Angel Studios and their productions are, topping, if not going off the charts, right? So yeah, let them keep doing what they're doing. They're not producing things that would be mass consumed by many people, that families and children can go. I mean, look, children, we've all had them. We know that, they pull at your heartstrings. You take them to the store. They want everything they see. And, you might say no, and then you might cave in and give in. Well, they do those things when we take them out. They are good drags to the movies. Parents may not want to go, but okay, we're going to take little Johnny and Susie and some friends, have a good fun day. Fine. But these people with their creativity and the DEI and all this stuff, they let them keep doing it, because they're going to keep failing down. And the only reason I think that Eva can say that it's successful for her is because it's a federal grant. It's a grant. Remember, you get the taxpayer funds. That's why. So therefore, she gets the funds that go along with it, and it's not really costing her anything because the taxpayers are footing part of her bill.
Well, I think the chat is right. She's had significant work done to her face, and shout out to Wendy. I think Wendy had hit the nail on the head, and Laura hit the nail on the head. She's got enough money to get her work done, a new nose, some cheekbones, maybe a little shaving at the chin. With all of that said, though, what the interesting thing she said is, at the end of the day, she's a businesswoman. For her, this is just about the money. And for the studios, it's just about the money. When they started losing money and not producing blockbusters, but producing dumpster fires of movies like Snow White, right? When they're doing those kind of things, the production heads aren't saying, well, we'll just keep losing money. We'll see what's going to happen. No, they're going to change vein. They're going to self-correct because no one wants to lose their fortune making movies that only speak to a political point of view that doesn't show up to buy my product. She's right. At the end of the day, this is about business. This is not about advancing Democrat cause. As long as Democrat cause was filling the seats, yep, we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Now that it's no longer doing that, let's take a different look. Let's send some people to the White House to talk to President Trump to see if we have some common ground. They actually did that, to talk to the president to see what we could do differently. Well, here's the thing. DEI is dead. There's no reviving it. And you can talk about it on The View as much as you want. Whoopi, you can tap both hands. You can tap a knee. You can tap Sonny on the back. It's not coming back, girlfriend. It's just gone. It's over. Let it go.